National Guard troops could be on the ground in Portland, Oregon as soon as Thursday, according to a spokesperson for the state's military department. It comes as Oregon's attorney general has filed an emergency motion in an attempt to block President Trump's deployment of troops there. The filing comes after President Trump announced the deployment Saturday. Oregon is arguing that the president is overstepping his authority. And in a statement, the White House said, in part, quote, President Trump is using his lawful authority to direct the National Guard to protect federal assets and personnel in Portland. Now, meanwhile, a coalition of more than a dozen mayors across Oregon have issued a joint letter rejecting any attempts to deploy federal troops to the Portland area. The mayors say that deploying militarized federal agents without approval from local leaders would escalate confrontations in the city. And thousands of miles away, officers and agents from roughly a dozen federal law enforcement agencies will deploy to Memphis, Tennessee, as soon as Wednesday. CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdes is covering the latest.
Well, just last week, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee says he expected to see men and women with at least 13 different agencies make their way into Memphis today. So far, we haven't seen any major movement or troops in the city, but there are still a lot of questions about the details of the operation. A lot of those are still unclear. What we do know is the agencies that are expected to be involved in this massive operation, what the president called the Memphis Safe Task Force. That includes ICE, the DEA, and the ATF. But those National Guardsmen who are expected to be in the city at some point this week are, we're told, not going to be making arrests, nor will they be armed unless local law enforcement asks them to be. Of course, there are several local leaders who seem split on this, as well as several people who live in the city, some who welcome the troops in hopes that it does help combat violent crime, others who say they want more opportunity and investment rather than more law enforcement presence. Of course, all of this as the president now vows to send troops into other cities this week, including Portland. Back to you.
Nicole Valdes on the ground for us in Tennessee. Nicole, thank you.